Hey folks, Jordan with the Young Turks, TYT Politics. Hope you're doing well. It is Friday, and interestingly enough, there's a rather big admission, correction, that was released this week that I just heard about now, and the corporate media has not reported on. All the cable news outlets who have been pushing this narrative on Russia have not reported on, and there was a correction in the New York Times. But apparently, the New York Times felt this correction was okay just to put at the bottom of their story, but not actually do like a follow-up report on or anything like that. So, want to get into it. Obviously, I have been talking about this Russia hacking and interference and possible collusion for months, and I've basically been saying it's very possible that Russia interfered with the U.S. election and these things. Not saying it's not possible. I was saying, well, unlike Iraq and other U.S. foreign policy hubbubaloos, I'd like to see like concrete evidence before pounding my chest that a foreign government did X and then we should do Y. I think the U.S., its citizens, its media are way too quick to just blindly believe what intelligence agencies tell us. I think history shows that. You have Iraq, you got Libya, you have intelligence agencies lying about the amount of innocent civilians killed by U.S. drones. It is the U.S. intelligence agencies' job and, frankly, skill to lie, from the CIA to the FBI. Okay, so we had U.S. intelligence agencies, the corporate media, Democratic officials, Hillary Clinton, reciting this baloney. Let me get it for you. Hold on. You ready? All right, I'm going to do this a little gangster style.
We have 17 intelligence agencies, civilian and military, who have all concluded that these espionage attacks, these cyber attacks, come from the highest levels of the Kremlin.
So, there's a little sideways heard. You have 17 U.S. intelligence agencies that confirm that cyber attacks from Russia hacked the DNC, hacked the election, and in some way were responsible for tilting the field towards Donald Trump. As I told you, as many people told you, Glenn Greenwald, Jeremy Scahill, Michael Tracy. First of all, these 17 intelligence agencies, you're talking about things like the Coast Guard and agencies who have nothing to do with cybersecurity or identifying whether foreign governments are hacking elections. So it was a little unbelievable in the beginning that 17 U.S. agencies all confirmed this. Okay. Well, again, there's two issues. Did Russia hack the U.S. election, which I've always said it's possible. I would just like to see concrete evidence rather than U.S. intelligence agencies telling us so and me just blindly regurgitating that. That's not like journalism. That's just propaganda. That's what we did with Iraq. The New York Times basically wrote what Dick Cheney and another anonymous sources told them, and that helped build up public sentiment that we should go to war in Iraq. And the corporate media cheerleaded on for that. Okay, so you had Hillary Clinton saying 17 intelligence agencies tell us that we should go, that we were hacked. You also had our friend, let me get it for you, I'm doing this a little gangster style. We had our friend Donna Brazile tell us the same thing. Let me show you that one.
Of us involved in CNN is.
Do you have proof that it was Russia? Do you have proof that it was Russia?
Sir, as we stated, and the United States government has also stated, and if you would like a copy of the Department of Homeland Security and the information that they released 2 weeks ago, you're welcome to have it, but I'm sure you have it. But
yeah, they also told us we had WMDs. Well, why should we trust this?
Because we have ample evidence. We've been the victim of a cybercrime. We have ample evidence. We have ample evidence through our service and through all of the technology that we
So my friend Donna, as you know, hold on. My friend Donna also told us this nonsense. And you had Hillary Clinton telling us this nonsense. You had CNN reporting this nonsense. You had the Washington Post reporting this nonsense. You had Rachel Maddow huffing and puffing for the last, I don't even know how long. It's like every show she starts with Russia, right? So again, to the naysayers, to the Hillbots, to the establishment, I am not here saying that Russia did not potentially interfere in the election. I don't have a stake in whether Russia did or not. If they did, honestly, let's be real, the United States has been interfering in foreign elections for the last 4 or 5 decades. It's not some unprecedented thing that we don't do ourselves. It is not the reason Hillary Clinton lost. That is the reason that her allies in politics and the corporate media would like you to know, would like you to think. But if Russia interfered, sure, have an investigation, go nuts. Do I think it merits 24/7 coverage? Do I think it's like the biggest scandal since Watergate? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I have the advantage of going around the country and seeing, well, not the advantage, but I'm able to see communities poisoned by their government. I'm able to see people starving across the country, literally starving. I'm able to see people getting screwed by their local and state governments. I'm able to see workers having to fight for health care when they're working 70 hours a week, which I just covered yesterday in Miami. I'm able to see people, whole municipalities and cities having their state legislatures overturn them when they raised the minimum wage, which I saw in Alabama. I'm able to see real scandals that the corporate media does not cover. Okay, so Hillary Clinton said 17 agencies confirm that Russia interfered with our election or hacked our election. You had Donna Brazile saying it. You had CNN regurgitating it, MSNBC regurgitating it, the Washington Post regurgitating it, the Associated Press regurgitating it, and on and on. Well, correction, June 29th. That would be yesterday. Let me show you this correction. And again, I'm doing this kind of guerrilla style, so I apologize. This is not 60 minutes production, but it'll get the job done. The New York Times, a White House memo article on Monday about President Trump's deflections and denials about Russia referred incorrectly to the source of an intelligence assessment that said Russia orchestrated hacking attacks during last year's presidential elections. The assessment was made by 4 intelligence agencies: the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and the National Security Agency. The assessment was not approved by all 17 organizations in the American intelligence community. One more time, the assessment was not approved by all 17 organizations in the American intelligence community. Wait a minute here. You wait a minute. You're telling me that what's been regurgitated for the last, I'd say, 8 to 9 months, actually longer than that, maybe even a year. This all started last summer. You're telling me that the central argument, slam dunk, it's a fact. Every intelligence agency, all 17 intelligence agencies agree. Russia hacked the United States election. You're telling me, just very casually, the assessment was not approved by all 17 organizations in the American intelligence community. Now let's go back to Mika Brzezinski, Joe Scarborough's war with Donald Trump, which that's all the media is covering today. Do I live in the Twilight Zone? So the bottom line is, they lied. Plain and simple. The corporate media, Hillary Clinton, Donna Brazile, the Democratic Party, they're all a bunch of liars. They've been pushing this nonsense that 17 intelligence agencies all confirm that all intelligence agencies from the Coast Guard to the FBI agree Russia hacked the United States election. But it was a lie. I told you all throughout, don't believe this nonsense. Glenn Greenwald told you all throughout. Well, not exactly, there's no proof here. There's just speculation and propaganda. Michael Tracy, I know some people have a problem with Michael Tracy. I don't agree with him on everything, but credit to him. He's been saying the same thing. Again, there's a difference between is it possible that Russia hacked the United States election? Of course it is. I never said it wasn't. I happen to think that it's probably likely that President Trump has some type of financial deal with Russia that he wants covered up. That's why he is so deferential to Vladimir Putin. That's why he never says a nasty thing about Putin. That's why he probably is going to decrease sanctions on Russia. It's very, very possible. But there's a difference between President Trump having financial deals with Russia, which I agree with Cenk and others, is most likely. I do think that. And if he does, that needs to be investigated, because if the President of the United States has financial deals with a foreign government, that could influence his decision-making power, which is wrong and which we need to know about. So that I agree with. But there's a big difference between, does the President of the United States have financial deals with Russia or any other country, and did his campaign or all collude with the Russian government? Those are two different things. One, I think there's probably evidence to. Even his son said before he became president, some of their biggest business dealings are with Russia. So I think there's likely evidence that Trump has dealings with Russia financially. Have I seen concrete evidence that Russia hacked the DNC or Donald Trump's administration had some sinister collusion? I'm sorry, I haven't. I'm not going to say I have just to jump in the groupthink bowl. I'm just not going to do that. But what I do now have evidence of is the New York Times either knowingly or just sloppily lied that 17 intelligence agencies all approved and agreed that Russia hacked the DNC. So when I am telling you, when Glenn Greenwald is telling you, when Jeremy Scahill is telling you, when Michael Tracy is telling you, when Kyle Kulinski is telling you, when all of these individuals are telling you, hey, why don't we wait for actual evidence? Why don't we wait for incontrovertible evidence rather than being Rachel Maddow and Chris Matthews and Anderson Cooper and Morning Joe and the New York Times and the Washington Post and just regurgitating what our sugar daddies in the deep state and the government tell us? Why don't we just wait for evidence? Is that so radical? Does that make us Russian Kremlins? Or agents of the Kremlin, which I've been called? I don't think so. Yes, I finally was able to pronounce Kulinski's last name. Progress for all. So, I'm sorry, folks. This is a big, as Joe Biden says, this is a big effing deal. The New York Times, rather than kind of, maybe retract all their stories saying 17 U.S. intelligence agencies all agree that Russia hacked the DNC, rather than CNN, breaking news, we have a correction to make, rather than Rachel Maddow starting her program with this important correction that they were all wrong, that they all pushed BS nonsense for the last year, they all go silently into the night. And right now, today, you know what they're covering? That President Trump potentially blackmailed the co-host of Morning Joe over some National Enquirer story about them. This is literally what our media is reporting on today. I'm not kidding around. And I'm aware that there are people who feel very passionately about this Russia stuff and think I'm wrong and think that there is no doubt that Russia hacked the election. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm not saying there is no suspicion that they did. What I've been saying is, show me the evidence, and even if there is evidence, well, let's talk about the deeper thing. If Russia hacked the DNC, if Russia hacked Podesta, did that fundamentally elect Donald Trump? I don't think so. I don't think people went into the voting booths in Wisconsin or Michigan or Ohio or Pennsylvania, which I all went to multiple times in my campaign reporting. I don't think they felt that they had Vladimir Putin standing over them with an Uzi. If you don't vote for Trump, you're done. I'm going to kill you. I don't think so. And the broader question is, let's not be hypocrites. America has interfered in elections all throughout the world. So the problem with the corporate media industrial complex is just this. For the last year, they have been pushing a central theme that it's not even up for debate. It's a fact. Russia hacked the DNC, Russia hacked Podesta, and this is some scandal that fundamentally altered the election. Literally, the New York Times yesterday corrected the central falsehood, and it's just buried at the bottom of their story. You don't see it. Cable news isn't reporting it. All the outlets that push this nonsense isn't reporting it. It's almost like, whoop, poof. No error. Let's just keep going on and reciting this nonsense. That's not journalism. That is propaganda. Plain and simple, it's propaganda. And I don't really care. I don't care if people disagree with me. Frankly, a lot of folks at the Young Turks might disagree with what I'm saying. That's fine. We're entitled to, we could agree to disagree. But I haven't seen any evidence that makes me think, all right, now we know. Now we know 100% this is what happened. But I do have evidence right now that the media has been lying for a year, that the entire United States intelligence apparatus agrees. Russia hacked the election. This is why I tell you over and over, and it's a lonely, lonely group, because there's not many people in this group, in terms of journalists, who keep telling you, do not buy the BS, even when it's overwhelming, even when they're telling us we're Kremlin puppets. Groupthink is a very dangerous thing. And by the way, there are financial incentives for MSNBC, for CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, to keep pushing these lies. Cable news is up 19% in profits in 2016, pushing the Russia lie. New York Times digital subscriptions up significantly. Washington Post digital subscriptions up significantly. It's all about the money, Lebowski. About the money, Lebowski. So if Russia hacked the election, then I will be the first one to admit it when I see concrete proof. But you know what I now have proof about? The New York Times correcting this reckless nonsense reporting. 17 U.S. intelligence agencies did not agree Russia hacked the election. It was a lie. It's a dangerous lie. They should come out. They should correct it. They should apologize and state the facts. If you want real reporting, youtube.com/TYTpolitics. My reports from the Miami airport will be up today. I was there yesterday covering a workers' strike. A airport company is literally offering fake health care to minority and poor workers. And you can see my other reporting from Flint, from East Chicago, from Standing Rock, whatever you want. Unless you just want to follow Trump First Morning Joe all day. I know I don't. Share this video. If you want some weekend reading, the introduction and chapter 1 to my book. If you don't know, I'm writing a book. I'm releasing it chapter by chapter instead of releasing it all as a finished product. I'm just finished chapter 2. That's getting released too soon. Read the intro in chapter 1 this weekend. CorporateConJob.com. That's CorporateConJob.com. That's CorporateConJob.com. Download, support me. You could donate if you choose. Appreciate you guys following.